question then becomes, well, how am I ever going to find the time for that? You just showed me these lists of things that I am supposed to be doing, and I'm already overwhelmed. So how can I possibly find the time to get this done? And I appreciate that question and that perspective so much. And interestingly, science tells us, research tells us that we actually need to be resting 42% of the time, which probably sounds like way more than you are currently resting. And that's about 10 hours out of every 24. You're 42%. But that includes your sleep. You should be getting around 8 hours of sleep. Some people need more. Some people need less. More people get less than actually need less. But that is counting into your rest. Also, activities where your mind is wandering, where you are able to be not in a place where your mind is racing and it's anxiety, but in a place where your mind is wandering. So that might be doing some of those IOCA activities that just let you sort of, I think of it as like parking your brain. That counts as rest. All of those activities, those IOCA activities, those self-care activities, they count as rest. And you can combine them so that you're not always doing everything separately. And then finally, we can put into this category activities that help you complete the stress cycle. So it might be funny to think about exercise as being rest, but exercise, we know, is a really great way to complete the stress cycle. So it can go into this bucket as well. So I have here in your workbook, and this is an activity that will take you a while. So it's not something that we can stop and do today. But in your workbook, you'll see that there are two similar looking worksheets. The first one is my time realistic estimates. And so what you want to do here on the first sheet is really, look at your past week or what an average week would be for you and fill in where you're spending your time, whether it's sleeping. And that sleeping also includes the time that you spend trying to get to sleep or the time that you spend awake, getting a midnight snack, all of that time that you sort of dedicate to being in bed and being asleep. Your work and commute time, social activities, kid stuff, other caretaking responsibilities, the time you spend preparing meals and eating, the time you spend showering and doing your hair and, other personal hygiene, time you spend on chores around the house or outside of the house, errands that you're running. And then finally, this last category is TV, phone, internet, other screens. So these, if you're going to a concert and that's a recreational activity, that's probably going to fall under social activities. The time that you're spending looking at a screen is going to go into this last category. And I think I read that the average for an American is 2.5 to 3 hours a day looking at screens not related to work. So, this is when you've got your phone in your hand and you're also watching a movie and you're also reading the news or whatever it is. So when you have an opportunity, sit down with this. It does not have to be pretty. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be color coded, but go ahead and scribble all over this and really take an inventory of where your time is going. Because what that's going to allow you to do, which is the bottom part of this worksheet, is identify opportunities for trade-offs. Because we can't put more hours in the day. That's obviously not possible. So we're going to have to, if we want to find time for self-care, if we want to find time to to take care of ourselves and become well, that is going to require some trade-offs. And it's going to require probably getting uncomfortable. It might mean you're not going to have enough time for chores. It might mean you're not going to have enough time for Netflix and chill. It might mean you are cutting back on social activities, or you're adding something into your working hours. Whatever it is, do the inventory and then look for those opportunities, because the next worksheet in your workbook is the closer to ideal. So getting to that 42% of rest, finding those places where you can add in the things that are going to allow you to complete the stress cycle, to shake that stress out of your body. Dancing, by the way, is a wonderful way to get stress out of your body. It just hits so many of the points. So this is not an easy exercise. It's not a short exercise, but it is what it takes so that you can start to think about how you can find the time to get to a better place.